Yeah, I think I lost my feed, but we'll see. I blame the Earth's magnetic pull. So, anyway, it's kind of overshadows all the other news today. Basically, it was just a bunch of complaining I was doing about IDF mobilizing thousands of reservists. Yeah, they want to go to war. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Number of casualties on the ground, of course. So, like I said, this is just literally just happened. So, the question is, what are going to be the ramifications of all this, and where's it going to go? I mean, is it going to quiet down like it did last year when they kind of exchanged missiles, or is it going to escalate? I don't see it quieting down, to be honest. The drums of war. You can't, they're hard to stop once they get going. I'm kind of a little speechless here, to be honest. I'm a little bummed out. My whole feed just dropped, and just kind of ruined my whole concentration, but is what it is. But let's just carry on, I guess. So yeah, looks like they bombed a bunch of nuclear sites. Mobilization, gotta love that World War One reference. Like, obviously, Israel can't make accomplish their military goals on their own. They need the U.S. And it looks like they're gonna just try and drag them in. And there's a lot of people on the U.S. side that are more than eager to jump in, and particularly the neoconservatives, who would love this, and all the other paid shills for the war machine. So they're all going to be working furiously within the U.S. to get the U.S. totally on side with this war, on Israel's side against Iran. And where it goes from there, who knows? Because once the U.S. does that, they leave themselves open to attack on multiple fronts. International, the Gulf, where the economic threat of oil disruption, the military bases throughout the region. So, and then the question of the rest of the world, like Canada and Europe and China and Russia, and like, what are they going to think of all this? Obviously, they're going to have something to say about it. So things are moving quick here. Quick. And really, the only thing that could de-escalate this is if, like, basically Trump put his foot down and cut off all aid to Israel, and then force Netanyahu to resign or something. Something drastic to de-escalate. That's the only thing. Other than that, it's war. it's only going to get bigger, especially with the oil. The oil will play havoc. Ironically, Russia will be more secure oil for like countries like India and China. All right, let's see what Canada did today. We'll keep an eye on the TV here. I don't even know, like, the stuff I was looking at today doesn't even matter anything. Let's just go quick through it. First, we're talking about war here. Mothers in Britain will soon have to make an inconceivable choice on their sons to fight against Russian soldiers in Europe or suffer the end of NATO, Ukraine's former foreign minister has said. Yeah, so it's a huge push in Europe to go to war against Russia and in Canada. And articles like this, it's like the drumbeat of war against Russia through, especially in Britain. I don't know why they're so eager to do it. It's so odd. Warmongers, man. Canada also wants to get in on this war against Russia. We're governed by globalist traitors. Here's another one. 2 months ago, David Abe was lecturing us on the virtues to buy Canadian on national TV. He is kind of a commie, this guy. What is it with BC premiers and total commie premiers in BC? I don't know. Yesterday, he authorized over $1 billion on new ferries from the People's Republic of China, a country that tariffs Canada. Yeah, well, look at this little pale-faced commie. This is kind of a story today. I don't know why it's a story. Like, really, why would people waste their time trying to kill Jagmeet Singh? But anyway, Jagmeet's afraid that someone's going to take him out. Suspected Indian government agent had Jagmeet Singh under close surveillance when he was NDP leader, prompting fears for his life. So first of all, I don't think the Indians are going to waste no bullets on Jagmeet. Second, he ain't the leader anymore, so really, who cares? And third, why are we even talking about Indian BS politics and beefs in Canada? Like, we shouldn't care about anything Indian, any Chinese, nothing. If they have a caste system or they have an ethnic dispute or ethnic religious caste dispute, they could argue it over there in India. So the fact that we see stories like this is like, what the hell, man? Next story. Dave Smith, who's always attacked by the pro-Israel crowd. Right, it's generally hard to imagine a worse decision than to go to war with Iran. They pose absolutely no threat to us, and the war would be a substantially larger catastrophe than Iraq. If you wanted to destroy the USA, and other disastrous war in the Middle East would be the move. So, I agree. So, whoever thinks Israel and USA bombing Iran is a good idea should have their heads examined. History will judge Donald Trump harshly if he allows this war to happen. So, it seems like I don't know. I don't see him stopping this, to be honest. I really don't. There's Pierre. We were talking about Pierre's language on immigration, how he's all tough now that it doesn't matter. I don't know why we're still talking about that. He's just trying to be relevant, Mr. Pierre. Nobody's talking about Pierre. He's on his way out. I'm making that prediction. Next one. G7. That's coming up too. Like, the G7 is going to be quite lively now with this Iran thing. Gosh. It's crazy. They're all coming to Canada. All the players. Some of the players. G7 will be a success if Trump Doesn't have an eruption, experts say. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to have an eruption. That should be interesting. It probably won't be boring. Next post here. Neocons want to greenlight a proxy war with Iran when we haven't even finished cleaning up their proxy war with Russia. Yeah, they love their wars. They're getting dragged. They're trying to drag the U.S. into war in Ukraine. They're trying to get the U.S. into war in Iran. Holy. Next post. A lot of grumbling on the Conservative Party. A lot of Conservative supporters are grumbling about Pierre's lackluster performance post-election and now his meaningless talk on immigration. A lot of people calling for some big changes. Marty up north. Canada's Conservatives need a complete makeover. Is that too much to ask for? Yeah, I was saying rebuild weeks ago, months ago. Rebuild, total rebuild. Now they're saying the same. Murder made. The best way to ensure Iran gets a nuclear weapon is to send the message that they're going to be attacked whether they get one or not. Yeah. He won't get a bayonet up the ass like Gaddafi. Next. This is back about the ferries, the BC ferries. We talked about this yesterday. How Canada's whole history of a country, of a seafaring nation, can't build ferry boats apparently. So it says, in 1946, Canada had the third largest navy on earth. Today, we cannot even build a ferry in BC. We buy them from China. That's pathetic, and it's searing indictment of the collapse of building anything except condos and cars. And the cars may not be much longer. Yeah. Pretty bad. Can't even build a boat. This is another problem. Canada sets record for number of refugee claims. Grows every year. And it's not just like, let's say, there's like 30,000 this year, right? There's like backlogs and years of backlogs. So on top of 30,000 from this year, you still got millions from the hundreds of thousands from the other years. And more coming every year. And they all cost money. You got to put them up somewhere. Got to give them health care. Got to give them everything. Education. All strains the system. So, big problem. And I don't see Mark Carney stopping that flow. Next, Dave Smith commenting a lot on Iran. I don't know if it will be enough, but it's great to see so many influential voices on the right opposing the war with Iran. If nothing else, this is a great moment to see who's an Israeli first warmonger and who's an American patriot. Yeah. It'll be interesting. There's going to be a big rupture in the MAGA movement if MAGA gets into this. I mean, if Donald Trump gets the U.S. into this. So, next. Rupa Subramanya, who's an Indian who lives in Canada now. She's been saying a lot about all the Indian men being brought into Canada. So she seems to have a good insight into it. She says Canada's imported hundreds of thousands of potential pedophiles and rapists, just like this guy from India. I don't have kids, but if you're a parent or woman in Canada, you should be terrified for your safety. Yeah, I have kids, and you shouldn't have to go to park or a water park or anywhere and have to think, oh, who's this dude or what's this dude's deal? So yeah, we don't play nice with that deal. Like at the park, you don't want to know. Let's just say, better not happen. So yeah, Rupa has been saying a lot about this issue lately. Here's another one. This is interesting with the G7, although it might be overshadowed with Iran. Oh, yeah. Upcoming U.S.-Canada deal saying the United States would be guaranteed first right of refusal on Canadian resources. If this is true, it would be a betrayal of the highest order and quite frankly kill the Carney government. So that should be interesting. I heard about that today. Should be interesting. They basically own Canada for all intents and purposes. This is a funny Canada story. Next story here. Vaughan homeowner fires guns to stop auto theft, but it's charged along with the 4 suspects. In the U.S., he would have been able to kill all 4 and he'd walk. But apparently the dude had like a Lamborghini. And he's like, screw that. I'm shooting these guys. Or I'm going to defend my Lambo. Next, look at this dude. The Deport Report. In Abbotsford, British Columbia. An Indian is sought after a woman was sexually assaulted at an Abbotsford park. So we were just talking about parks. Like, geez. I go to the park all the time. That shit better not happen. Next post. Who are these boys? Deport. Charat Singh and Maninder Singh face charges related to the discharge of prohibited firearm in Brampton residential neighborhood. Yeah. There we go. Deport. Next. This is the thing. Okay. Referring to the airstrikes by Israel. Israel has now made a mockery of the United States. President Trump today said he did not want strikes ahead of negotiations scheduled for tomorrow. And they did it anyways. And it wasn't just strikes, it was like major strikes. The attack today is deliberate sabotage and blatant attempt to force us into war. We must resist. So yeah, that's going to be the question in the next few days. There's a big divide in the States. Pro-war Israeli shills and anti-war, anti-globalist MAGA. Like, they don't want to be involved in all these foreign wars. So there's going to be a big struggle between those two. Big struggle in the coming time ahead. Next post. And then this is one I just got on as the more information was becoming and Dave Smith again thought COVID was the test of Trump's life, but it's this. I really hope he doesn't fail both of them and keeps us out of the war here. So yeah, I believe like this war, like 6 months after his election or his inauguration, this is going to be could be his legacy. Like he's been around for so long and he's had so many different things, but this will be it if he stops World War III or not. Pretty good legacy, pretty bad legacy, either way. So history will judge, and we'll see what happens. But is Israel saying this is not a one-day attack? So launches preemptive strikes against Iran. Where have we heard that before? Oh yeah, it was in Iraq, 2003, when they launched preemptive strikes against Saddam Hussein and his WMDs. But like, look at these Fox guys. And look, everybody on the news is just giddy as hell. They're just giddy as hell. They're all there, giddy. They got to see their explosions. So that's the day. Quite the way to the end of the day. World War III. And, remains to be seen. It's weird. There's so many weird things going on. They got the G7. You got the Bilderberg thing going on with who knows what they're planning. G7 in Canada. You got this going on. So many moving parts, lots of moving parts. It's crazy. Very interesting. Israel strikes Iran's nuclear facility. Like, if that's not an act of war, I don't know what is. That's pretty well an act of war. Like, they should just say Israel declares war on Iran. Anyway, I can't. Just gonna have to digest to see where it goes. Hopefully, we're not paying $3 for gas in a couple days. Then you'll see people freaking out. All right. Israeli officials expect a missile and drone attack against Israel and a civilian population. Well, of course. I wonder what the Houthis will do. Crazy. Look, that's the capital of Iran. Excuse me. The capital of Iran getting bombed. No biggie, no biggie. Wow, look at that. Iran had enough fusion material to make 50 nuclear weapons within days. Yeah, I've heard that before. It was called Iraq. Remember? The same Netanyahu who said the same thing about Iraq. Unreal, man. We'll switch to Al Jazeera here just to see, because we're watching Fox, right? Obviously, we know what Fox is going to be full of these neocons lately. Iranian media says children killed in Israeli attack on Tehran with residential buildings hit. Of course, they're going to say, oh, that's lies, but, you know, that's what they're saying. Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel has launched preemptive strike against Tehran. Okay. So basically the same stuff as Fox is saying. Crazy. But you could feel like the war drums, they were beating good. And I lived through the Iraq War. I was in university at the time. And I felt the same vibe, you know, like this thing like they want. But it's not the same because back when during the Iraq War, the run up to it, it was 9/11 was really raw, fresh in a lot of people's minds. So nobody wanted to question it because of that, and so there were a few, and a lot of people got fired and ostracized. But this time, I think there'll be, like Dave Smith said, there'll be a lot more vocal opposition to it. It still might not stop it, but there'll be a lot more opposition to it. But once the drums of war get beaten, it's hard to stop it. Okay, it's not saying much here. CNN liars, maybe. Commercial. Let's go to commercial. Apparently, World War III is not important. So, anyway, I'm going to have to digest this and see what it goes. That's crazy stuff, man. Crazy. Crazy stuff. And I guess there's nothing really else to talk about. We got Indian perverts and we got World War III. That's it. There ain't no in between here. The next broadcast. IDF mobilizing thousands of reserve. Yeah, it's war. Declaring war. Just declare war already. Anyway, I'll be I'm sure we'll be seeing lots more of this. The next broadcast, for me, that's a good question, actually. Thursday. Today's Thursday? 13. My next broadcast will be Monday, June 16th at 9 p.m. Eastern. So I got the weekend with the kiddos. So I'm sure I'll be watching all this and seeing what we'll have lots to talk about Monday. So everybody have a nice weekend. Don't worry about World War III. Try and enjoy it. And let everything unfold as it's meant to unfold. So see you guys Monday. Thank you.